Hi guys, how's it going? Just in the middle of flicking a few of my extensive fin collection because I've kind of got too many and I've done the experimentation and I know which ones I like now. So before they go and gone for sale, I thought I'd have a quick talk through some of them. So gonna do a little guide on FCS2 rear quads specifically rather than just all fins. Just gonna go through rear quads basically. So I've got the key FCS quads here that FCS themselves make. So these are all in the FCS2 system. You've got and it works the same as the thruster fins in terms of the design and the intended use. You've got your Reactor fin here. This is the fin with the least sweep. It's the most upright, and that will be the easiest to turn and the least hold out of the same fins. Then you've got your Performer, which is a blend between being quite upright and also not being too swept, so you'll get basically an all-round performance out of the Performer. That's the design intent of it anyway. And then you move on to your Carver, which is the longer. It's more raked fin, a more drawn out fin, so you'll see it curling back further. And this one is to give you more hold and draw your turns out a bit longer. Now, they do give you some idea on what sort of surf these are intended to be surfed in, but I think it really is about what you like in the feel of your board. Now, some people like a very loose, responsive feel, and they like to be able to throw the fins out the back and all the rest of it. So, you know, they might go for something like the Reactor to get that speed and instant pop off the wave, and then the Performer's a little bit more drawn out. Personally, been slower and older, and I probably wouldn't say I'm a power surfer, but I like to surf a bit more on rail, and I like to surf slower, longer carving turns basically. So the Carvers work really nicely for me. They keep my turns long and drawn out and smooth, which I kind of like myself. So I usually go for the Carvers. So yeah, those are the main three types that FCS do. There's some really good information on the web about that and which ones to choose from. I actually just wanted to go through some information on which templates a lot of them are, because you can get yourself wrapped up into Shaper's fins and buying the Matt Biolis rear quads to go with the Matt Biolis front fins. But honestly, and yeah, I'm pretty damn sure I'm right here. So honestly, for most of the Shaper fins, there are some differences, but I've certainly seen. This is actually the Shaper fin out of my GAM set, which is the Almeric's large quads, and this is exactly the same as a Performer. And the fins out of the rear of the Matt Biolis 5-fin set, I'm pretty sure are all the same template as that medium Performer. So yeah, and then this little bad boy here, the Reactor, is actually exactly the same fin template as is in the back of the split keel, funnily enough. So you got those huge keels on the front and this upright fin on the back, and that is exactly the same template. So before you get too wrapped up in certain Shaper's fins, just look on the website and look at the figure for base, depth and surface area and sweep. So base is the bottom of the fin, that's the part that gives you a lot of your drive. Depth will give you a lot of the hold, and sweep will give you a lot of the more drawn out. The more sweep you've got, the more drawn out your turns will be basically. So if you look on the website at the Shaper's fins, and you also see exactly the same numbers for the standard fins, that's pretty much what you're getting. So if you've already got a set of Performer mediums, you've probably got the rear quads out of most of the Shaper's sets, to be quite honest. There are some differences, but not too many, to be quite honest. And obviously, manufacturing wise, they want to have a certain amount of templates, and they're really good templates, to be fair. So they've regurgitated a lot of them. So interestingly, what I've got here is this is a GXQ. So this is the old GX. So most quad sets used to come with this. So you can sort of see how all of these fins have got a little bit bigger. Now, these fins would be very comparable to the old G1000 if anyone's ever ridden the old plastic, the old plastic fins. So basically most quad rears now have stepped up in size a little bit. And I'm pretty sure if you look at these, they're all very similar in stats and they're all very similar in surface area. They just perform a very slightly different job. So start with one of these three is probably a good way to go. And if you find something that's not working, it's not too difficult to tune it. You know, if you've got something in your back, you know, your back end's skidding around all over the place and you don't like it, you know, you can try between the Reactor, and if you've got that skiddy in the Reactor, you might go up to a Performer or a Carver. Now, if you get into really wide tail boards, so basically these are all the medium size. In the Performer, they do go up to a large as well. Well, that's quite a large fin, to be fair, so it's probably more than most boards need. Maybe some really wide tail boards might need it. But yeah, those are the three main types. And then, you know, even this, I've got the JS set, and they are very slightly different to the Performer. But, you know, honestly, if I put those, it's going to be quite hard to see, but if I put those two like over each other, I mean, you know, this, can you see, you know, can you see any difference? They hide behind each other pretty well. There's not really a lot of difference. I think they are slightly different, but not very much. And then when you go into something like the Firewire, I think these ones have actually been specifically made to the Shapers template, so they are actually a bit different. That's funny enough, they are one of the fins if you want a little bit more hold at the back. Obviously you can see the difference in size between that compared to even your Carver. It's quite a large upright fin, so that gives you plenty of grip at the back. So yeah, and then the only other thing you probably need to know is about the foils. Now, you might need to double check on this, but basically I believe none of the Shapers or the FCS2's own have a flat foil. So basically they're all either an 80-20 foil. So basically, if it was a 50-50 foil, which this Carver is, it would look the same as a rear thruster fin. And if it was an 80-20 foil, it would look like this Performer. And you won't even be able to see it on camera, but this face will be convexed or curved like a normal side fin, and this face on the inside won't actually be flat. It'll be very slightly convexed as well, but it'll be 20% versus the 80% on this, so you won't be able to see it. So basically the Carver's a 50-50 foil. I believe the 50-50 foil, which is the same as a rear thruster, is intended to give you more hold and a smoother turn. And then the more 80-20 foil, and even if you got to flat, but obviously there's no flat ones available by the sounds of it, you would get more release. So if you're looking for really snappy loose turns, you might prefer a flat foil, because you might be able to initiate those turns a bit easier. So yeah, that's my little guide on FCS2 rear quads. The crux of the thing was basically, you know, you've got these three main templates, and they come in a couple of sizes. And basically, if you wanted to change anything significantly from there, don't be too heavily lured into thinking you're getting something different when you buy the Shapers fin, because they actually have used very much the same template, if not exactly the same template. There are a few different options there, but if you actually go in and look at the figures on the FCS2 website, if the figures are exactly the same, there's a very good chance that it's basically exactly the same fin, which is not a problem. You know, it's just yeah, just thought I'd give you that information. Hopefully I'm not in trouble with FCS2 for saying any of that, but it's like, you know, they obviously use the same molds and the same fins, and then there are more Shapers fins coming out now, again, like these two, where you are actually starting to see some difference. I think initially they just said, right, this is the free, and you know, that rear quad came and everything, and that's how it used to be as well. So there's a bit more option now. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And yeah, some of these are all disappearing very soon, so I just thought I'd show you, and I hope that's been useful for people. And yeah, if you're finding your back end sliding out, that's your range that you can try and tweak it with. And yeah, if you're finding that you're getting things a bit too grippy, you can go back down towards the upright end or get something a bit looser. So yeah, happy hunting. Enjoy your quads, because I love them. Cheers. Yeah.